Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. We're going to begin right here with a little XRP news. This is from Ripple.com, and it goes as such. Well, firstly, let me preface this by saying there's articles everywhere, obviously, today about Ripple holding less than 50% of the supply of XRP. This is a good thing. But Ripple itself on Ripple.com put out a little information here. This is in its Q3 report. So let's read this and see what we can gather here. It says Ripple publishes the quarterly XRP markets report to voluntarily provide transparency. We know all this. Let's scroll down here. Notable takeaways. First bullet point. Ripple's XRP holdings are below 50% of the total outstanding supply for the first time. That means they've been shifting tons of XRP to corridors and companies. This is good. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to hear. And it has a lot of implications too. And don't think, listen, once that price starts going up, people are going to sell. They're going to, let me tell you something, $8 to $10 people are selling. Matter of fact, there was a price prediction. I don't know if we're going to get to it here. Let me just see. Bear with me one moment. But there was a price prediction. Somebody wrote an article predicting like $1.30, something like that, XRP at some point very near, right? Even then, because people hold so much XRP, they're going to scrape some off the top and take profits. That's just the nature of the beast. So expect some dips as the price starts to skyrocket. You know how it goes. This is typical stuff here. And then once that happens and there's mass selling, and there will be, most people are not holding to see the astronomical prices that XRP could reach. Then once they're selling, Ripple and other companies will be able to buy that XRP. Once it leaves the hands of retail who were never meant to hold XRP anyway, those companies and Ripple are going to be buying that XRP. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't have to do a lot to bring XRP back home. You get what I'm saying? And that's another reason why once people sell their XRP in the future, it's just my humble opinion, I don't think they're going to be able to get it back. I don't. It was never meant for retail. The banks need as much of it as possible. The large financial institutions need as much of it as possible. They're not going to let that opportunity slip through their hands. And especially not once they have to pull their money into it. They're going to stabilize that, in my humble opinion, at a high price. I see the same thing happening with XLM and Algorand, Hbar, Celo, as such. They're going to stabilize these things at high prices. So let's continue on here. Second bullet point. On-demand liquidity went live in Brazil, a key market in Latin America. Definitely is. It's at the core of everything. They have the biggest digital bank in Latin America in Brazil, but who also is deep in Brazil. You have to know these things. So you got Ripple, obviously, is deep there. Algorand is very, very deep in Brazil. Then you also have Stellar building roots in Brazil. Everybody is there because they understand. Brazil has one of the best economies. You get a lot of tourism. There's a lot of big business with eyes right now. That's another thing. A lot of big business has eyes on Brazil. So this is very, very good. So let's continue on here. Third bullet point. Total XRP sales by Ripple net of purchases were $310 million versus $408 million USD the previous quarter. Across Ripple's various wallets, the amount of XRP held for the first time is below 50 billion or 50% of the total outstanding supply. Critics have pointed to the company's XRP ownership as an indicator that the XRP ledger is controlled by Ripple. What are they going to say now? This is what we've been trying to tell people all along. But anyway, let's continue here. This is not true. Obviously it's not, but you can't speak wisdom to the ignorant, right? Yeah, people have to come out of the ignorance and take the blindfold off. It has to be willingly done. They have to do it themselves, right? So you can shout wisdom all you want, but to the ignorant take wisdom as ignorance and ignorance as wisdom. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not the only one who's saying that. A lot of great minds, like the great Hermes Trismegistus, if you know who that is, right? This is the father, Hermes Trismegistus, sometimes conflated with Asclepius. Also, those two are kind of conflated. And it depends on which history you're reading, but nevertheless, whether they're the same person or not, Hermes Trismegistus, the staff of Hermes, is known as the father of medicine, things of that nature, just to give you a little bit of a history on the individuals who have said similar things, right? All right, so I just want to back what I set up with someone who is world renowned and revered. All right, so there you go. Now, it says this is not true. The XRP ledger, XRPL, uses federated Byzantine consensus to validate transactions, add new features, and secure the network, which means that each validator node gets one vote regardless of how much XRP they own. Ripple currently operates 4 out of how much? 130 plus validator nodes on the XRPL. We've been telling people this for the longest time. Of course, they're going to go with the government because a lot of people worship the government regulators like the SEC, of course, right? So they're always right no matter what. Even when they're wrong, they're right. So this is a great thing that Ripple did, putting this out there. Like I said, there's a bevy of articles out there that are now putting this truth out there. So for people to see and hold, screenshot, download these things. Things are looking very, very good. Let's continue on to this next article here. Oh, man. Hey, man, you guys staying healthy for the holidays, right? You got Halloween coming up. I know everybody wants to, they're going to be handing out candy, eating candy, all the unhealthy foods, and they're going to sweeten everything up. Your pancakes, getting extra sweet stuff, extra whipped cream, all this stuff. But just keep health in mind. Keep your body healthy. And a healthy body will lend to a healthy mind. You got to stay focused every once in a while. I'm going to recalibrate us here. Make sure we're staying focused. Hey, some stretching. Like I said, you got Qigong for stretching. If you want something very, very, very light, yoga. All right. Don't be afraid of yoga. Some of the toughest athletes on the planet, from mixed martial arts to boxing, jiu-jitsu, they do yoga. Basketball, football, they do yoga, stretch out those muscles. The muscles get more oxygen, allow oxygen to flow better around your body. Stretching does. Obviously, the blood flowing around, the distribution of nutrients is better for your body. This is not medical advice. Seek a medical professional, okay? But what I'm saying is keep yourselves healthy, especially in these holiday times where things are going to get really, really unhealthy, right? So XRP price prediction, the end of consolidation is near. I agree with that 100%. And we're getting closer and closer to the end of the case. So, people are going to become more bullish. There's going to be more potent information put out, and that's going to make people even more interested in looking into XRP companies, especially companies. And as companies are salivating, there's going to be individuals as well who are going to just continue buying allotments of XRP in preparation for what could be generational wealth. I believe it's definitely going to be, I think it's going to be an explosion, the likes of which people have never seen before. But you heard me saying that a bunch of times. Still doesn't make me less excited because I am. It just is what it is. Now, let's read this little tidbit here. Ripple price has been decreasing below a descending resistance line since April 2021, when it reached a high of $1.97, reaching a local top of $1.97 in April 2021. It seems like so long ago, doesn't it? XRP price has made 4 unsuccessful attempts at breaking out before falling to a minimum price of 29 cents in June 2022. None of this matters at all, but I am highly entertained by this type of information and that people are still trying to contain XRP, XLM within these traditional means of calculating price and where it can go. And, when we've never seen anything like these before, listen, how many other technologies are in bed with almost all the governments, all the central banks? You take a look at Algorand and what they're doing coming up soon. Don't worry, we have a little Algorand news coming as well. And you look at, they have the vice president of the European Parliament. Listen, yeah, I find these things hilarious. Although I do enjoy a good technical analysis breakdown. The technical analysis for the short-term daily price chart shows the XRP price has created a symmetrical triangle, which is considered a neutral pattern. However, since the triangle is transpiring after an upward movement, a breakout from it would be the most likely scenario. All right, the count inside the triangle is given in white, while Ripple price movement supports a breakout. The daily RSI, let me tell you what supports a breakout. All the catalysts. Ripple's been doing a great job. They're bringing in more partnerships. They're sitting on panels that can also reach out and bring in more companies. They're actively trying to grease the wheels of existing corridors. Everything's been looking extremely good. We've been winning all along in the SEC case. I mean, so everything's looking beautiful as of right now. Muy linda, mi gente. Is doing really, really good. So let's continue on here to this next article. All right. So now we got a little bit of Algorand news. It says hashtag AlgoFam, hashtag Algorand was nominated for a Shorties Award for our Earth Day at Times Square. These honor the best content creators in social media. Please vote for us. Oh, so they're nominated. So they didn't win. They're nominated. My apologies. Let's win this. Go vote. Let's dominate. Let's show them who's in charge. Let's bring home another victory. Winning is what we do. So let's do it. That's how I feel. Oh man, so this is very, very good, in my humble opinion. So now let's go here. And just that's good advertisement. A lot of these big names that are going to be nominated as well will hear of Algorand and say, who's this Algorand that's competing with us, right? They'll look into it, and then that can lead to new partnerships, new money coming into our hands, into the Algorand ecosystem. We have grown so much. It's so large. It's ridiculous at this point. And if you saw the parabolic runs we had before, as I always say, imagine what's going to happen when we go back into a bull run, and we will. We will. There's a lot of catalysts coming up that are very good. Don't get me wrong. We have some that are bad also. We're going to have our downturns. We're going to have our crashes, our dips. That's going to happen, but that's just based on economics. Right now, they have horrible monetary policy everywhere. The central banks, nothing we can do about that. We have to just wait it out, right? We have to ride it out, make strategic movements and such, stay mentally strong and such. But even with those negatives, we have a lot of positive catalysts coming up if things play out the right way, and then that could take us back into a bull run. But in order to know when that occurs, I wouldn't rely on the external source to tell you that. Just keep your eye on the catalyst. The same way we did with Quant when nobody knew that Quant was going to explode, and we kept our eye on what? We kept our eye on the catalyst. We kept observing, and we saw what was happening with partnerships. And then as that news started to spread around and partnerships became more potent, then you saw the explosion of Quant, $40 all the way up to it exceeded $200. That was based on catalyst. That's why we were able to see that. So we must do that and apply that type of behavior to everything, in my humble opinion, if you want to make money. And that's in any of these industries, whether you're trading in crypto, you're making money with futures, you're making money with bonds, you're making money trading currencies, whatever it is, know the catalyst and you can stay ahead of the curve. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I just think this is something that is wise to do. Simple as that. Not financial advice. You don't have to do anything I say. All right. All right. So now we have this from Algorand also. Projects like Quantum Temple, supported by Algorand Foundation, are making a difference in communities hard hit by disasters, natural and man-made. An NFT marketplace focused on culturally significant sites. They preserve heritage by providing a needed source of revenue. Brilliant. This is from Matt Keller. Once again, this goes a long way. This is why I said before that Algorand is the people's coin. We were saying that all throughout the summer. And then you saw Algorand take that mantle. Shout out to Algorand. I greatly respect them. They're one of the few companies that show a lot of love here. They took that and they were calling themselves the people's coin. And the people of the world recognize and respect when someone is helping them. They're feeding millions of people in India. Then they have their school programs that they're educating the youth so the youth can make some money and build good businesses and use distributed ledger technologies. We've seen that. And now you have them here helping individuals who are in disaster zones. The people will reciprocate. When you put that kind of energy out there, there is the high potentiality for reciprocation. And the people will say, who's this Algorand that's helping us? They will want to utilize Algorand, support Algorand, and that helps us grow even more. So in the money game, that is definitely significant. To not only say you want to help, but then you really don't, sort of like what the IMF does, but to actually walk that path, they're doing it. And I like that. I respect it. And yes, it does equal growth in the future and more capital in the future. I think that's just logical. All of these things are tied together. So now another tweet from Algorand is going to be significant, and you have to pair this one together with something else that's going on at the same time, simultaneously. This is strategic. Everything you're looking at, chess played by masters right now. I'll tell you why. Let's read this little tweet here. It says, the genius at Silvio Macaulay will be speaking at this year's Decipher event. Really, no introductions are needed. I agree with that. It doesn't. The founder of Algorand, co-inventor of zero knowledge proofs at MIT professor, will be speaking at the Decipher event. Now, why is it significant? Why are they bringing out the big guns? We know that Silvio Macaulay only comes out when there's a significant event. What is his purpose? As we're moving him on the chessboard, obviously, he is there to spread the message at the same time that the vice president of the European Parliament is present and is showing showing support for Algorand. That's why he's there. To persuade those powerful minds that will be coming along with the vice president of European Parliament. This is one of the biggest opportunities ever. This is one of the biggest happenings ever for any of the bank coins. And Silvio Macali is going to make it count. Not only brilliant, but I've said in the past, he was one of the first I called out to say he's one of our winners. He knows how to win. And he's very powerful at what he says, along with being very eloquent and persuasive. What can come out of this could be insanely huge, and I'm counting on it. I'm counting on it. We have not seen Silvio Macali do anything otherwise than win. And I expect him to bring home a victory now. Algorand is doing a great job. Silvio Macali has been doing a great job. That money is getting bigger and bigger, in my humble opinion. That's my interest. Stacey Wharton has been doing a great job. Together, we are dominating. And that Algorand price is going to raise. Raise it all. It's going to raise. All right, let's continue on here, everybody. We're doing pretty good again. We're going pretty smooth. We got a lot of articles left, a lot of good information here. Remember, we have chapters. If you like to jump around, always feel free to. We got a lot of good information here. If you enjoy this kind of content, I would greatly appreciate it if you click. You like that? What kind of, I should be ashamed of myself. That's not, what kind of, now that's smoother. Click that like button, right? Oh man. My 80s card just got ripped up. Like, you can't even lock, pop, nothing. What? Shh. Don't make me. You don't want me to start practicing dance again. Boy, shh. Don't let me break dance. You're gonna lose every round. I know what you're saying. Alfani, you're competitive at everything. Yeah, I am. I am. At everything. I want to win. I don't care. I want to win everything, every single time. I want to win. But I'm not crying if I lose either. I'm not. Like, I learn from it. I'm going to grow, come back stronger. That's how it goes. But every single time, yes, I'm trying to win. I also have fun competing. So here we have a little bit of stellar news, right? So they made this tweet here. And this article is titled, it's a post on stellar.org. It's titled The Dawn of Sorrow Banathon. So let's see what this is about here. It says, we're back with more exciting news about our fabulous Abacus. As announced at Meridian 2022, Soroban is now live on FutureNet. And with it, we introduced the first of many programs to roll out under SDF's $100 million Soroban Adoption Fund. Sorobanathon, first light. I love it when these companies are doing this. Now is the time. See, you have a crop of, I won't say a crop, but like a group of brilliant minds they're starting to develop programs. They're starting up their businesses. They're fresh out of college, and they are somewhat familiar with distributed ledger technologies. They're interested in it. This generation that is coming out of college right now is very interested in these things. And so there are a lot of new individuals and entities that can build on the blockchain. This is the time to scoop them up is what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm being eloquent or not, but this is the time to scoop them up and bring them into the fold. So companies like Algorand, Ripple, who are doing these contests, and Stellar, doing these contests, are being wise and trying to bring in some of the most brilliant and innovative minds, brilliant and innovative projects. That obviously is going to be positive for the growth of that particular blockchain or distributed ledger technology offering, obviously. And our interest in that, obviously, is the more that they grow, the more innovative they are and stay ahead of the legacy system, the more money we can bring in. So I love when they do stuff like this. So let's continue on here. Soroban is Stellar's smart contracts platform, currently in preview release. What's the difference between Soroban and classic Stellar? Well, I'm by no means a motorhead, okay, but let's look at this in vehicle terms. Oh, I see where he's going, or where the person is going. Classic Stellar is your Toyota that you take to and from work every day. It gets good gas mileage, has extremely low maintenance costs, and is just straight up the most, the most reliable car on the road. It's not flashy, but it's safe. You know, I always pause because I'm like, with companies, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to hear you be cool. Let's be professional. Let's get to the money. You can be cool outside of work. That's how I feel. This is how I feel. You understand? Like sometimes being cool, it could turn the money away. We're here to make money. And I take that serious. When I'm talking dollars and cents, I take that serious. So I don't care about you being cool. Talk to me regular. Let's be professional outside, whatever. That's how I feel. We're not here to lose money. We're here to make money. Right? So anyway, we need to appeal to the widest audience possible when we're speaking. Soroban, on the other hand, is still a car, but you can get a little crazy with it. A lift kit to get you up with. Okay, like I want to. Oh my goodness. Let's go here, man. Whether you're creating code examples, thank you. Let's get to the information. Whether you're creating code examples or fun DApp tutorials, we encourage you to play around with Soroban on FutureNet. And we want you to experiment like this with Soroban, whether you're adding tinted windows or still on the car stuff. Sorobanathon First Light is the first program aiming to encourage Soroban adoption and grow the Soroban ecosystem. It gives developers a structure to begin testing out Soroban and to provide valuable feedback that will help shape Soroban's future development. The first adoption fund program is meant to be fun. Low lift way to tinker with Soroban. We're looking for any kind of content, big or small, from video walkthroughs to practical tutorials to GitHub issues to anything in between. This is very good. I like this. And each qualified submission can earn a reward of 250 to 3,000 XLM. The content generated during this stage of Soroban will help us kickstart the ecosystem, make onboarding easier, and identify any bugs, issues, blockers, etc. The importance of early stage development, inquisitiveness, and curiosity are invaluable during the early stage of development. Tinkerers generate excitement and interest and often lay the groundwork for long-lasting projects. That's what I was talking about. Now, that's good. Now you're getting to the meat of the situation. That's what I want to hear. I'm here about money. I want to know how you're expanding. How do you plan to implement this? Like I have an idea based on what others have done, but I want to know that you and I are on the same page, and now you just confirmed it to me. This is very, very good. So I'm very happy with what Stellar has been doing lately. They've been doing a very good job. And so, we keep an eye on this. And as of right now, everything's looking really good. And hopefully they continue to expand and we bring in a lot of brilliant minds and they solve some really good problems that are going to use more XLM. And hopefully that's going to lend to the price of XLM. And I believe it will going up. All right. So now let's continue on here. So this article here is titled, "Here are Rishi Sunak's most urgent crypto tasks as a UK leader." So let's just read a little tidbit here. It says, as Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, Rishi Sunak outlined an ambitious plan to turn the UK into a crypto hub. So we heard similar about this a few weeks ago. As Prime Minister, he'll be under pressure to deliver on that pledge, and they should hold him accountable and make sure that he lives up to his claims. It says, deliver on that pledge while at the same time containing an economic crisis. Well, if he institutes the bank coins, as the Digital Pound Foundation is going to advise this individual to do, or has already, I believe, done so, if he institutes the bank coins, they're going to be able to not only rescue their economy, but they're going to be able to come to a middle ground where they can get the resources that they need to restabilize their economy and have their people living well once again. Same thing with Europe. They're in a similar situation. And not only that, they'll thrive. They won't just survive, they'll thrive. It's just a matter of them instituting the old systems. Now, because this individual, and don't quote me on this, but I have heard that this individual is another World Economic Forum member. So you're going to have that power behind him also, not just the people pushing him towards, hey, implement the new financial system. We all know if that happens, then boom, generational wealth. So this is a very, very good thing that's happening here. We'll see how this progresses. Keep an eye on this. But as of right now, we are in the driver's seat. It's just a matter of time. Everything is happening at a pretty good pace. In my humble opinion, it's tick-tock. We still have the same timeline, 3 to 5 years. We heard that's Bank of International Settlement. We heard Ripple say 4. Then we had a more specific timeline. I don't remember who put that one out. Was that Ripple? Where they said 2 years for undeveloped 2 years for undeveloped nations. Then they said 5 years for developed nations. That's what they said, right? Something similar to that. I know a lot of you have those screenshots of that document. But nonetheless, what I'm saying is we're still on the same timeline. So everything's looking good as of right now. Let's continue on to another article here. So we have a little bit of Hedera news by way of MTech and their strong leader, Carmel Cadet. Says here, a former IBM finance leader is on a blockchain-based mission to get the central banks to use digital currency. We're going to take all that money. Hbar is going to explode. Hedera is going to explode, mostly because, not just because of what they're doing outright as the Hbar Foundation or Hedera outright, but because a lot of it's because of MTech and their digital sandboxes and the persuasiveness of the esteemed Carmel Cadet. Simple as that. I call it what it is. When I see a winner, I just call a winner a winner. Simple as that. Over the past few years, many employees, including finance professionals and CFOs, chose to leave their jobs seeking more meaningful or mission-driven work. Quote, it's been a trend that we've seen with executives as we've approved them on other opportunities. Elise Bodine, managing partner and global head of financial services practice at Heidrick and Struggles, recently told me. After a 10-year career in finance and technology at IBM, Carmel Cadet made a pivot toward working toward financial inclusion. Yes, we're going to include ourselves to all of that money that the banks are holding and they don't really deserve. And Hbar is going to explode. That's how I look at it. Yes, inclusion, of course. Cadet is the founder and CEO of MTech, a New York-based fintech startup with the goal of to rebuild central bank infrastructure for the Web3 era. No, we're going to literally save them and take off that Band-Aid off a bullet wound and actually surgically repair the wound. And everyone who's associated with this, theoretically, their ship will rise. A rising tide here is going to raise all ships. We're going to save them. They're done without us. Simple as that. And Carmel Cadet is one of the surgeons that's going to save the banking industry. Cadet first joined IBM through an internship program and was hired as a financial analyst. Listen, we already know about Carmel Cadet's background because we went over it before. An astounding individual who does nothing but win. That's what we know. Here, let's go here, continue on. Cadet thinks blockchain has transformational promise because it does. With its ability to represent an asset virtually with a clear understanding and transparency of who the owner is and who holds it in any particular at any particular time. For example, quote, CFOs understand how difficult reconciliation is in finance, she says. Quote, that's partly because every number is moving on different systems. Blockchain really changes that. Yeah, so you're talking about consolidation. You're talking about congealing of information. You're talking about having the same information across the board. That's a game changer. Not only that, but the ability to have that capital flow to anywhere with near instant finality, the lowest fees you're ever going to find ever in the history of mankind until it's just absolutely zero. You have that. Then you also have the smart contract capability, which is second to none on Hedera. Then you also have the ability to use it as a traceability protocol. All of these things, like what we are holding is so valuable. I think it's just unfathomable to most that they should believe that it is what it actually encompasses. The substance of it is so astounding. I don't think most people will believe it. But yeah, we are in an insane position right now, unbelievable position at this particular time. Quote, the regulators and central banks did not really understand what the technology was. Hadn't I been saying that? You're hearing it from Carmel Cadet herself. Haven't I been saying that for over a year? Let me read that again. The regulators and the central banks. Now, this is another thing a lot of people are not understanding. You know, they want things to happen so fast. The central banks did not really understand. There's an education curve. Now, I was saying that for a year, then you saw a document come out a month ago from the Bank of International Settlements, which told you the same thing. I know some of you screenshotted it. I know you downloaded it. We definitely covered it in the members only section. And they were saying that it's going to take time to educate their employees and the utilizers of these systems on how to properly use them. That's going to take time, right? So now you're hearing it from Carmel Cadet. Central banks did not really understand what the technology was. They still are getting a footing on the technologies. That's why we're still having so many meetings. That's why they're still testing things out in digital sandboxes. That's why they're still sitting in presentations. And because the technology is always upgrading and updating itself, that's going to be continuous into the future, which is a good thing for us. More business for us, right? Strengthening those bonds, and the stronger those bonds become between the DLTs, the DLT companies, distributed ledger technology companies, and non-banking financial institutions, NBFIs, and the banking system, the more of a guarantee that a large amount of that capital will flow out of them into us, and the more trust we can gain from them. And even if it's not trust, traditionally how trust is known, it's trust on the level of we need what you have. So we're going to use you and you've explained it to us. So now we're going to use it a little bit more than before because of the knowledge that we have received. We can now trust how the system works because we have transparency on how it functions. That's good. My humble opinion. So this is a very, very good happening. This is going to bring more light to MTech and it's letting us know that Carmel Cadet is hungry, as we know, because we see everything that's going on. And it's very, very good for the future of Hbar, my humble opinion. So now let's continue on here. So now we have a little bit of Celo news, right? Celo ecosystem projects raised $77.3 million in support of interoperability refi. So let's scroll down, see what's going on here. Projects building on Celo blockchain have collectively raised $77.3 million in support of various business initiatives, underscoring the growing adoption of the payments. I don't know what just happened to me. I'm like, I had a brain and mouth stutter for a minute. $77.3 million in support of various business initiatives, underscoring the growing adoption of the payments-focused developer network. Celo announced on October 27th that projects Impact Market, Loam, Tatum, Circular Impact, Sanergy, Hyperlane, Redstone, and Gia. That almost sounds like a rap lyric. Gia. Young Jeezy. Gia. And Gia secured funding to further the adoption of their Web3 business models. The biggest raise came from Tatum, a blockchain development platform, early Celo Foundation grant recipient, which secured $41.5 million. Hyperlane, an interchain communication protocol focused on interoperability, secured $18.5 million in seed funding led by venture firm Variant. Projects focused on regenerative finance, including Impact Market, Loam, and Sanergy, raised a combined $6 million. Refi is an emerging paradigm within the crypto community focused on using blockchain and Web3 technology to address environmental and social issues. On the decentralized finance side, Redstone secured $77 million and Gia added $4.3 million in pre-seed funding. Celo was founded in 2017 by former GoDaddy executives Renee Reinsberg and Marek Olszewski. The Celo platform provides payment infrastructure for digital assets through the use of mobile devices. They also have their white paper out for CBDCs. We'll keep that in mind also, with phone numbers acting as a proxy for private keys. Also keep in mind, Celo can explode so easily. It already did. We saw maybe 3 or 4 explosions. You can go back and look at those charts from the time we start talking about Celo, like $2, $2.25, $2.50, then go up to $8 or $10, something like that. Then it went back down to like 4, then it went back up to 8. So people took profit a bunch of times. And that was then. Celo is much bigger now than it was then, as all the bank coins have expanded. Celo also has been expanding and growing. Not only that, keep in mind their World Economic Forum ties and one of their most significant use cases, universal basic income, which has been, there is a movement pushing for universal basic income around the world. Now, if you're going to have mass universal basic income rolled out, and Celo's at the forefront of that in the World Economic Forum, and the World Economic Forum, whether you like them or hate them, always gets what they want. You saw what they just did when they put that they have a couple of prime ministers in office, a couple of presidents that are members of the World Economic Forum are in office as well. So you have that. So they always sort of are able to put their people in position, and Celo is their universal basic income offering as of now. That could change in the future, but as of now, that's what it is. But so you have to take all of this into account in addition to the fact that it exploded with none of that before. So how much more could it explode in the future? Now, it's not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It doesn't matter to me whether you buy Celo or not. You know, you have to make your own decisions. That's what I want you to do. Make your own decisions. All right. So just want to put that out there. So this is very, very good in my humble opinion. When it comes to Celo, I like to see this kind of activity, and I'm excited about the future. I don't expect anything less than a meteoric explosion next time a bull market hits. Easily, by the way. So now let's continue on here to another article. So we have an article here, and it's titled, Binance wants to team up with Elon Musk to integrate crypto to Twitter. This could be very, very good. Let's read a little tidbit here. It says Binance is reportedly looking for ways to further help Elon Musk with his crypto plans regarding Twitter. The platform has already invested $500 million into Musk's acquisition. Binance's Twitter push. Binance is set on teaming up with Elon Musk to make Twitter a more crypto-friendly platform. According to a new report from Reuters, leading global cryptocurrency exchange Binance is currently creating a team that would, quote, work on how blockchain and crypto could be useful to Twitter. I can see a lot of implications with this, and it's all good, pointing at the bank coins, because in the end, all of those other coins will be eliminated. Not only that, did you hear that there were, what was it? I don't know if it was maybe this year, but there were 5,000 new coins created. Like, that's unthinkable. No, they won't survive. Most of them are not compliant. There's too many crypto coins, and most of them don't serve a purpose. You know what they're there for. They will be regulated out of existence. It's just the way it is going to be. So in the end, when I look at something like this, and I say to myself, if they're going to use Twitter and have an offering from Twitter, let's say where they're moving value around, or you can obviously use NFTs on Twitter, that's going to only grow, then the bank coins will be the best option. You can have Hedera involved in this. You can have Algorand involved in this heavily. They're both doing great when it comes to NFTs and things of that nature. So I think that we would take a huge piece of that value. If any value is going to be moving through Twitter via blockchain, I think that we will play a huge part in that. You're probably going to have a few legacy crypto offerings, like Bitcoin is going to be there, Ethereum is going to be there. I do believe Ethereum has a few more explosions, but like I said, I see in the future it getting dominated by Algorand, it getting dominated as a smart contract platform by Hedera, things of that nature. And even though it's not a bank coin, I can never put Cardano out of the mix. I just can't. I know what they're doing. Read their white papers. I know what they're at. So I can't exclude them either. So Ethereum has a lot of competition, but I see the bank coins dominating here, in my humble opinion. So I think this is very good. Things are getting very interesting. This article here. Costa Rican lawmakers propose nixing almost all taxes on Bitcoin. This could get very, very interesting quickly. Lawmakers in Costa Rica are working to make the Central American country a Bitcoin-friendly nation with significantly lower taxes on crypto. This week, Costa Rican lawmaker Joana Obando presented a bill to Congress for regulating the crypto market in Central America. I expect this to spread. And this is another reason why Central America is going to be a very interesting place that people are going to be flooding. They're going to continue to go there, move there, live there, buy land there, have different investments there, build businesses there. It's already been happening already, okay? You saw Elon Musk is going to be doing a massive investment into Mexico. Why haven't I been saying for a year Mexico is going to explode, that people have been going there, big businesses have been moving there. There's a ton of Americans and Westerners moving down to Mexico, to the point where a lot of people in Mexico are complaining about these people moving there. It causing a little bit of change in the culture, so to speak. That's how much that is happening. It's a reason. There's a reason for that. And now you're starting to see these things come to fruition. So I think that, yes, Central America and South America instituting things like this, where, let's say, transactions with cryptocurrencies have no taxes on them. Like, let's say you're buying a loaf of bread with crypto or something like that. Like, there has to be a differentiation. So those types of things are not taxed. That's going to make it even more delicious for people to be down there in Central America and South America. Just my opinion, but that's what I see happening here. So to keep an eye on something like this, I think is very wise. Now, let's continue on here. Treasuries, U.S. yields rise as speculation on Fed easing ebbs. So let's read a little bit about this. U.S. Treasury yields rose on Friday after data showed underlying inflation pressures remained elevated, suggesting to the bond market that the Federal Reserve will move forward with its aggressive interest rate hiking campaign. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index rose 6.2% in the 12 months through September to match the prior month's rise. The core PCE price index, which excludes food and energy, advanced 5.1% annually after increasing 4.9% in August. Market rates had declined over the past week on speculation the Fed might soon pause its hiking because it could spark a recession. My goodness, they already admitted to a technical recession. Why do they keep saying spark recession? If they already admitted to technical recession, which we already knew there was a recession, which we have had deceleration, we had stagflation almost half of the year, stagnant inflation. We've been in deceleration. There's been mass layoffs. We saw, what did we see yesterday? It was the day before that. I didn't cover the article, I don't think. But what did we see, like 3,000, 5,000 layoffs or something like that? And those were executives of various companies? Something like that. Look up the mass layoffs that have been happening. You can do your own research and look it up for yourself. This is facts. So that's deceleration. That's, my goodness, you know, they're still talking about recession. They're not talking about deceleration. And then you even had Kathy Wood of ARK Invest had to come out and say, hey, I think we're heading into deceleration. We did cover that article. They're delusional. Anyway, let's continue on here. My God, this is why the people have to protect themselves with knowledge so that they can know what actually is happening and protect themselves from what is to come. Because the so-called leaders are not doing that. They're not educating the people, telling them the truth about what's happening. And that is dangerous. It says, but with inflation showing few signs of abating. Yeah, right. The View, but on the news, everybody was saying, oh, no, inflation is slowing down. What did they just say here? This is from NASDAQ.com, by the way, so it's a reputable source. It says, but with inflation showing few signs of abating, that view dissipated as the 10-year Treasury yield edged above 4%. Quote, the market reaction makes sense, said Priya Misra, head of global rate strategy at TD Securities. Inflation will not allow the Fed to pause anytime soon. There you have it. So no matter all the contrary things that they've been saying in articles and on the news, here it is from TD Securities, head of global rate strategy. Quote, inflation will not allow the Fed to pause anytime soon, and they're nowhere near hitting where they need to be. And like I said, I thought they should be a little bit more aggressive. Like Colombia, that leads us to another article where I believe this bank is doing exactly what they need to do right now. I don't know what they did before, but I know right now you definitely want to be aggressive with inflation and bring it down. And yes, it's going to hurt, but the central banks caused the problems. So they must solve it. Just like they caused the pain of inflation, there's going to be equal pain. You know, when you pour iodine on the wound, peroxide on the wound, it's going to burn a little bit, but it's going to help us. It's going to save us. So what I'm saying now is, yes, it's going to hurt a little bit now, but it will save the people in the long run, and they can get back to success and living normally quicker if you raise the interest rates like you're supposed to. I've been saying this for a long time. I think it's just logical. It says Colombia Central Bank hikes benchmark rate to 11%. Here we go. Wait. It says Colombia Central Bank Board raised the benchmark interest rate by 100 basis points. Let me say that again. Colombia's Central Bank Board raised the benchmark interest rate by 100 basis points. Fed, what are you doing? United States Fed, what are you doing? And it's another reason. See, a lot of entities, I'll say, in Central and Latin America, man, they've been rebelling against the legacy system. They've been doing what they need to do, what they believe they should do to better their people, to take care of their people, to get things, to right the ship, to repair what has been broken. I like this. Good. Meanwhile, everybody else is waiting on what the Fed is going to do. Everyone else. Oh, we're waiting on the Fed. My goodness, man. But I think this is very good. It says the decision was backed by all 7 members of the board, the central bank said in a statement. So this is very interesting. I want to see if anyone else raises it by 100 basis points. That's going to tell me a lot. That's definitely going to affect the money in those regions, the currencies in those regions, which a lot of people make money on trading. So this is something I want to definitely know about. All right. So let's continue on here. Here's another article here titled Fed Pivot Not on Horizon Even as Over Tightening Risks Loom Strategists. It says here, there is a greater chance of the United States Federal Reserve raising interest rates too far. That's ridiculous. too far and tipping the economy into a recession. Here we go again. They're so in denial, delusional. You already admitted to a technical recession. Strategists and fund managers told the Reuters Global Markets Forum, the biggest risk is that the Fed overdoes it since inflation tends to react quite slowly to higher rates. Likely even more so this cycle, given still not fully understood distortions to the economy caused by the This is said by the head of investment and economic research at ICG. While rate futures markets are still pricing in a 75 basis points hike at the Fed's meeting next week, they now expect only a half point increase in December and no more than half a point further over the next two meetings. They have to do it. Like I said, a lot of this is political. There's so many different political ties in the banking system. So they know that there's certain things going on and they don't want to have a bad face, a bad political face and leave a bad political taste in people's mouths. So they have to tread lightly. That's it. But I guarantee you, once all of that is over, I would expect them to get very, very aggressive. Like Colombia Bank, 100 basis points has to be in play. If you're going to bring down inflation, you're going to have to attack at some point. So let's continue on here. Gold down 1% as dollar yields rise on Fed rate hike bets. So October 28th, gold fell more than 1% on Friday as the dollar and bond yields climbed after data showed underlying inflation pressures remained high, cementing expectations around another hefty rate hike from the U.S. Federal Reserve next week. Spot gold XAU fell 1.3% to $1,641.30 per ounce. Sorry about that. Per ounce. By 1:43 p.m. ET. U.S. gold futures GCV1 settled down 1.3% at $1,644.80. Consumer spending, which accounts for more than 2/3 of U.S. economic activity, rose 0.6% last month, the Commerce Department said. There is concern that core PCE at 0.5% monthly or 6% on annual basis will keep the Fed relatively more aggressive, and slowdown in hikes will come later rather than sooner. This was said by Taiwan, a senior trader at Hyrus Precious Metals in New York. There you have it. Gold has been a little disappointing this week given the huge bond rally and the dollar moving lower, which should have seen it head towards $1,700. He added. The dollar equaled USD gained 0.3% against its rivals after U.S. economic data, making gold more expensive for other currency holders. The benchmark U.S. Treasury yields, U.S. 10YT equals RR, also rose. The Fed is widely expected to raise interest rate by 75 basis points at its policy meeting on November 1st through the 2nd. For December, traders are largely expecting a 50 basis point increase. We'll see about that. We will see. So, my goodness. So we're going to end off with this article here. I had like maybe about 4 or 5 more articles. We'll probably come back and do those tomorrow. U.S. consumer spending rises strongly. Wage growth moderating. All right. People better keep that in mind. I don't know what's going on. But I'm protecting my value. I'm not out here spending like crazy and, on superficial things that, listen, I'm here to make money, not lose money. That's how I look at it. Simple as that. But let's read this little tidbit here. U.S. consumer spending rose more than expected in September while underlying inflation pressures continued to bubble, which is why they look at that and they say, well, people are still spending like nothing's happening, so we'll raise the prices up a little bit more. That happens. Oh, U.S. consumer spending rose more than expected in September while underlying inflation pressures continued to bubble, keeping the Federal Reserve on track to hike interest rates by 3/4 because they look at it and they say, well, the people don't look like they're hurting. Let's raise a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more. Only for the people later to complain that they're hurting. You're not spending like you're hurting. That's what the Fed is going to say. Look how they phrase this. Keeping the Federal Reserve on track to hike interest rates by 0.75 percentage point next week. So that kept them on track to do this. But there was some encouraging news in the fight against stubbornly high inflation, with other data from the Labor Department on Friday showing private industry wage growth slowed. Wage growth slowed considerably in the third quarter. Of course, it couldn't continue to it can't just infinitely go up. Quote, Americans may say they are worried about inflation. Oh my, they just said what I was conveying before. Check this out. Listen to this. Quote, Americans may say they are worried about inflation, but they are still out shopping, which keeps the economy growing for another quarter. What is going on with people? They just don't understand. They're bringing pain on themselves. My goodness. Quote, there can be no chance that inflation pressures will subside in the near term from slowing demand. Consumer spending, which accounts for more than 2/3 of U.S. economic activity, rose by 0.6% last month. The Commerce Department said data for August was revised higher to show spending increasing 0.6% instead of 0.4%, as previously reported. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast consumer spending to be would gain around 0.4%. Consumers stepped up purchases of motor vehicles and spent. So sometimes people may say, well, Alphanim, how do you know what they're spending on? Maybe they're not spending on things that are superficial and nonsensical at a time like this where there's economic pain. I'm gonna let them spit some facts. Consumers stepped up purchases of motor vehicles and spent more on food, clothing, and prescription medicine that's necessary. Food, clothing, and recreational goods. I told you. But I think at this point, Western society is so used to just buying anything. Like it's like a self-medication. It makes them feel good. It gets the endorphins flowing. Let me go to the mall and just buy some clothes, buy some Gucci shoes, buy some Gucci belts. Let me buy 5 Lambos. Let me buy this mansion that I don't really need because I already got a pretty good house. So let me buy a mansion. What can you do? And this is why they're gonna continue to be able to raise the rate, which is going to make people lose jobs. They're gonna have to crush the economies. There's a lot of implications in this. It says there were also increases in outlays on services driven by housing and utilities, as well as travel and dining at restaurants. Right. My goodness. Anyway, I'm playing it smart with my funds, with my money. I'm here to make money, not lose money. I make money at the top, at the bottom, going up and coming down, whichever way we have to do it. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.